You might be looking at this landscape and thinking that it doesn't look like Telford. That's because today we are on a journey nearly 200 miles away to collect a new addition to our fleet. But to understand why we're making this trip, we need to take a look back at the last few months. Since construction in 1979, our 2-foot narrow gauge railway has relied on a single operational locomotive, our unique steam tram, Thomas Telford. Relying on one engine is an issue, as when the tram is out of action, the entire line has to close. In fact, we recently endured a 6-year closure while the tram underwent a total restoration. To ensure we can provide consistent passenger services in the future, we've been searching for a second passenger vehicle. Last November, a Facebook advert appeared for a collection of rolling stock that caught my eye. Among the items was a small red and white tram with an uncanny resemblance to our own locomotive. After diving into its history, I decided to make an offer, and a few weeks later, it was accepted. However, there was a catch. The site was so remote that a standard haulage truck wouldn't be able to reach it. If we wanted this tram, we were going to have to collect it ourselves. Our journey was going to take us from Telford in the West Midlands up to Cumbria at a private site near Carlisle. It's nearly 200 miles between the two sites, taking us 5 hours with the trailer. This is the Blennerhassett Watermill Railway. The site is a hidden gem for narrow gauge enthusiasts. The railway was built by the late Andy Curl in order to navigate the mill without damaging the ground. Since then, it has grown to include a unique collection of locomotives and rolling stock. Hidden in a shed built directly over the river, the tram lay waiting. Information on the history of the Loco is hard to come by, but we believe it was built around the turn of the millennium by Peter Hallam in Cornwall. Originally a scale replica of a Manx Electric Railway car, it spent its early years at local fairs before moving to Scotland and finally resting here in Cumbria. It hasn't operated since its batteries failed many years ago. This leaves one big question. Does the tram actually work? We won't know until it's back at Telford, but for now we'll just have to take the risk, as now we need to get the tram ready for loading. The first task was to remove the old expired batteries to lighten the load. We fought with the corroded contacts to strip out the old expired batteries and also secure any moving parts for safety during the journey. With the preparation completed, it was time for the tram to leave its shed for the final time. Since the line hadn't been used in a few years, we decided it would be best to manually push the tram out of its shed, rather than risk towing it.
There's a lot of gradients here.
With the tram safely out of its shed, it was time for the next challenge. How do you load a 13-foot tram onto a car trailer without anything to lift it up? Our plan was to use the trailer's onboard winch to pull the tram up onto the bed, but to do this, we'd need a ramp. Using an old section of rail mounted onto wooden sleepers, we constructed a ramp to bring the tram up onto the trailer. Due to its length, we were concerned it may ground out on the incline, but luckily it just escaped. After a hard-pounding half hour, the tram was safely on board. The final step was securing the tram down to prevent it falling off during transit. Our thanks go to the team on site who were essential in helping us load and secure the tram. As night fell and the rain began to pour, we departed Cumbria, leaving behind the tram's home of 20 years, to start a new chapter. safely arrived back in Telford late that night. The trailer was parked up in the yard and the tram was sheeted, ready for the challenges of the next morning. We arrived early the next morning and began unsheeting the tram as it awaited its final hurdle, unloading. While we used the custom ramp to get it on the trailer, this was left behind in Cumbria, so we had to come up with another solution. It was decided to use the trailer's internal ramps, which would be challenging as we had to aim for a perfect alignment with the tracks.
It should, as long as it's 2 foot, right, keep coming. When we get towards the end of the trailer, we're going to need to slide it just that way a tiny little bit. Right, which a bit now, we've got to get over the gap. Whoa. Right, steady as it. Keep coming. I think the wheel's going to land on the wheel and we can give it a nudge. Yeah. So keep coming. Just slowly. Slowly.
We'll take the ramp off We are on the rail. Well done. I don't want it to.
Taking it back to Carlisle.
I don't want it now. Oh man, this is good.
Right, stop. We don't crash into the
With the tram safely in its new home, we could finally relax after the many trials of the last 24 hours. And while this chapter of the journey was completed, there were still many more obstacles for us to overcome.
What else do I get in here? Ding ding!
I was going to break when I got in.